I don't care how much of the world you travel, you can't just hold the map over your face and navigate perfectly at the same time. How is Satipo not scared off by the bats like that guy there? Also, isn't one of the guys also a traitor who was working with Belloc? Yet he doesn't even get a chance to draw a gun on Indy. Oh, now I get it. It's just like the movie where he never shows his face until that sunrise in John Williams' score, remember? Why do some Destructibles just break but others explode? Usually when there's multiple switches that pertain to the same function, it only works when they're both activated at the same time by two characters. Here, you can just do it separately. Good thing it's the first one in the game. Cool of them to give us a raft, but it's a little strange to see the alligators not being able to damage you while using the raft. I went to the light. Isn't that supposed to activate a trap? What are the spikes doing in front of that door guarding the pieces to the ladder? I can't build the ladder without opening the door anyway, and I can only open it with the whip. What's the point of hiding the key above me if it's right next to the mechanism? It makes sense why Indy stopped him in the movie, but both of you are like right up to the idol. I don't think it matters who grabs it first, since not only does Indy still trust Satipo at this point, Belloc's gonna get the idol anyway. We don't go out the way we came? Then again, the way we came doesn't have a corridor fit for the boulder chase, so... I had to wait for Satipo for a little bit because he kept dying to the rolling heads that were dropping from the sky. It wasn't long, but come on, dude. Yeah, no, you two should be dead. Also, this cutscene only plays if you let the boulder catch up to you 3 times, and even then, you get to continue the level afterwards, so where's the risk? Why not just have me start that section from the beginning until I actually get through it? The only real danger is missing the treasure chest at the end of the passageway, but this section is by no means hard. Hilarious idea to cross over 2 of Lucasfilm's most popular properties in such a manner, but where did Indy get 3PO's head from? And why does Belloc know who 3PO is? What was Jock doing away from the plane? All he had to do was wait for Indy to come back. So the last part of the level is fixing up the plane so you can get out of South America. That's quite the extra step just to use a character with a wrench. Oh, as if landing so perfectly in the plane was even possible. Even more insane, he landed head first in the seat. No way he could maneuver himself to sit up while the plane is taking off. Fear makes people do impossible things, like moving from the passenger seat back to the pilot seat. Cool, I unlock characters that I already have. So I don't even have to beat Raiders of the Lost Ark, just the first level, and I immediately have access to Temple of Doom and Last Crusade. Suddenly cheat code. Where could Indy have changed clothes if he was just coming back to the table from the chalkboard? Now, the reason for Marianne punching Indy was due to prior events that you would have had to watch the movie in order to understand, because this game provides basically 0 context. Oh sure, just because she's a woman she could jump higher. I guess according to the LEGO version, Marianne was much more easily swayed into helping Indy, and I guess they were opening the door as if to leave the bar, but to stop by Tote and force into a bar fight? No, I'm pretty sure the fire in the bar started by complete accident. This boss is annoying because I don't think there's any way to throw a chair at him without getting hit by his gunfire. This is one of the biggest hindrances of playing as Indy in this game. I was trying to pick up the machine gun that the boss dropped, but I end up using my whip to grab a chair instead. Same thing happens when I try to build this table. It's understandable, but annoying. And trying to attack Tote without the machine gun sucks because other enemies can just get in the way when you throw a chair at him. Isn't it enough of a problem just trying to get in the right position to target him before throwing an object you're holding? Did Tote burn his butt by landing on the medallion? Wasn't it a plot point in the movie that the burn mark got in his hand, which is how the Nazis didn't realize until later that they were digging in the wrong place? What's this version like? Did Toad have to moon the Nazis just so they could look at one side of the medallion? The level's still going? Why is it still going? Should we have them go to Cairo right now? If there's a bunch of enemies you have to fight and they all have guns, expect to take heavy damage, maybe even die at least once. So anybody who picks up a wrench, no matter who they are, immediately knows how to fix broken mechanisms. Makes sense. The wrench is powerful as a weapon, killing the regular bad guys with one hit, but it also sucks as a weapon in that it has short range and you can't do combos. What? Why does that snowman just rocket off into space? Why am I not allowed to hold a key and a shovel at the same time? Huh? Why did I just die? So when I unlock Marion, she's just called Marion? Why can't she be called Marion Ravenwood? You have Indy's last name, though to be honest, you don't really have any choice but to use Indy's last name because that's just who he is. It makes perfect sense. But why stop there? With other characters that I've confirmed last names from the movies, no need to go half and half. Seriously, some of these characters do have their last names attached, but others like Marion just don't. Why? It looked like that pottery was aiming for Indy and not Marion, which is good to know because don't the Nazis need Marion alive? But more pressing, since Indy was the target, there was really no need for him to push Marion out of the way of nothing. Fighting these bandits is a nightmare. You're constantly taking damage from them because they don't flinch upon getting hit. And you would think grabbing a sword would make fighting them a bit easier, but no! It doesn't do much more damage than your fists. In fact, I think it might even do less damage than your fists. What a waste of a weapon! Why are these guys so tough? The shovel doesn't work well against them either, so it really is better to use your fists! So, okay, the dynamite is only lit once a player grabs it? How are the clotheslines supporting those planks, not to mention the weight of someone crossing that bridge? That's all it takes to fool the guard? Just wear the same army hat as the other soldiers? What's a motorcycle doing here? It's not like you're ever going to use it, and it's at the very end of the level anyway. Hilarious callback to the movie, but it would have been so cool to have this guy as a boss fight. Basically to replicate the fight scene that was originally planned for the movie, but was cut short because the actors were too ill to really commit. You know, Indy, that was kind of your fault for aiming at the wheels. That's so lazy of you, Lego. You could count them as separate characters, but at least categorize them if they're meant to be the same. This works. Why did Sala go down with Indy? Isn't Sala supposed to wait on the surface to pull Indy up once he was done down there? Yeah, no, Indy should be dead. This hint about phobias talks about characters panicking, but their reaction suggests less panic and more hesitation. Is that Princess Leia, C-3PO, and R2-D2? Yeah, no, Marion should be dead. Okay. Also, why does Marion's evening dress have sleeves in the game, but not in the actual real-life minifigure? You gotta be kidding me! I already moved that pillar into position adjacent to the first high platform you have to reach in this room! And there's no way to move it back! This sucks! How? How did you get here before me? Okay, greatest adventure hero, if you somehow managed to reach the earlier platform even though it was clearly impossible, why didn't you follow me down here where we need to go when it was absolutely possible? Remember this scene from the movie, Indiana Jones throwing torches at a giant snake? That was the best part of the whole movie. Where's Indy's jacket? Why is it just gone? This works. Oh, come on! That's unfair and you know it. I just started the level and already I take a bullet before I can move. Hey, Temple of Doom called. It wants its minecart back. Wait, Raiders came out first? But Temple of Doom is set first. There's no way Marion or Indy could have carried that anvil without issue. This guy hurts his hand trying to punch an anvil, but is able to resist the explosions of a plane firing explosive missiles. You know what happened when you punched the first anvil? Why would you punch a second one? So now we're chasing the Nazis in a jeep. Remember when we rode on horses? Okay, you got that part. I'll give you that point at least. Why would you leave the driver's seat unattended even if it was just to fight Indy? That truck is gonna crash. That cannot be safe for the Ark. No restraints or anything to keep it in place. What's Marion upset about? In the movie she was frustrated that Indy was being hurt by the wound she was trying to treat. Here she's just irritated by him lying down? That Nazi soldier didn't hear that? Is it really just these two on the ship? Just the captain and that guy? What exactly was Indy planning on doing while on the Nazi sub? Where did Indy get his disguise from? I know in the movie that he beat up a soldier and stole his clothes, but here he hadn't done that yet. That gesture could be one of two things. I need to use a ladies' room, or I'm on my period. Indy's a disguise, right? With that being the case, the Nazis really shouldn't be attacking him unless he starts the fight. Kind of a missed opportunity there, fellas. The music seems a little intense for this part. All we really have to do is work out how to reach Belloc and start hitting him. It's not even that hard to do either. Save the intense music for when the Ark is open, you guys. Wow. That was a boss fight, I guess. We can't use skulls in this scene, despite having skulls in the game, so let's give the spirits angry faces instead. Guys, we still have like a minute of credits left. You could have made the arrangement of the Raiders March a little longer. Why did the poison kill Wuhan, but Indy only got disoriented? That's not where I threw the diamond from. How nice of you, game. You turned Willie's most annoying trait into a special ability. The angle the antidote was falling suggested it was coming from the left side of the map, but actually it was from the right. There's no way. No way Indy changed his clothes that quickly. Assuming that was possible in the first place, all he needed to do was remove the bra. So only short characters could fit through these? I get the logic, but I call bullcrap. All he's doing is crawling through. Given that all the LEGO minifigures in this game have the same width, I don't think it matters if you're short or not. You can still go through the hatch by doing the exact same thing. How did this piece get all the way up here? I don't think that was supposed to happen. So just because you build a hatch, and that allows small characters to go through, fine. But it doesn't make sense when on the other side of the door is something solid, such as the wall or even the window. Please explain to me what sense that makes. You know, if they actually filled around the plane as much as they did in this game, Indy should have been able to figure out sooner that it was Lao Chi's plane. Oh, maybe it's because his face is never seen on the door until this cutscene starts up. Dude, by now that plane's already crashed. Where's the slalom down the snowy mountain? Wouldn't that explain how they got from the mountains to a jungle in India? These were not the clothes that Willie had in the cutscenes. In fact, she wouldn't have those clothes until we got to Bangkok Palace. Man, isn't it bullcrap that you have to jump to get through?
Hey!
Like, I get it, Willie's the only one not having a good time at the dinner table. It was like that in the movie too. But it's a little insulting of this version to give Indy and Shorty processed American food in India. I know, Willie sucks, but still. Who took that picture and how did Indy get it? I guess as long as anyone is holding a book, regardless of knowledge of Egyptian hieroglyphics, they could read them just fine. What's the point of blocking the way I came in if you're just gonna open another set of doors in the same room? No, the secret entrance is behind a statue that's pushed, not pulled. Shorty? What are you doing? You were doing the right thing by getting to the upper level via the hatch, and now you're just going back to the same hatch and delaying my progress. Do I really have to build this pillar before I can escape the trap? When did Willie have the time to change to her pajamas before coming down here? Our E10 Plus game is not allowed to have hearts being ripped out, and even though people are killed in this game, this guy, we can't have human sacrifices, so instead, let's humiliate him. Also, why is Mullah Ram and all the other members of the Thuggy cult the same skin color as our heroes? Especially the way Mullah Ram looks in this game, he looks like a joke compared to his movie counterpart. They didn't hear that? How nice of you, game. Close up the room so I don't get stuck after deciding to drop down after pulling the lever, which raises the platform from which the original hatch was entered. Instead, I go out the same hatch. But look, the platform lowers if I fall anyway, so what's the point of keeping the window open before I enter the hatch to get up there? No way dude resisted the blood of the collie that easily. So that's all it takes to appease the Thuggy statue. Just be wearing a turban that the Thuggies wear. Got it. Hilarious, but doesn't that guy live in the movie? Nah, see, this one's different from Desert Indy because he's missing a sleeve. Gosh dang it, not you too, Shorty! All those studs poured out from where the minecart destroyed the blockage, but by the time I get there, they've already disappeared. What's the Thuggy doing? Does this seem like a tease to anyone else? I should be able to grab the blue stud, but for some reason I started levitating. Now, before you suggest anything in the comments, I did turn up the brightness, but saw nothing. So what's the deal, LEGO? Why am I unable to grab that seemingly easy to snatch blue stud that's just sitting there with no slopes or anything? I know the blood of the collie can turn people's will to collie, but never have I seen it restore someone's strength. Also, we only see this happen after we hit him twice, and every single time it happens, we're not allowed to move until the Maharaja throws a bottle of collie blood at the slave driver. Look, heal the guy, I don't care, but don't restrict my movement. Freeing short round means basically decimating him once, then waiting for him to come back to life. That's counterintuitive. This was just annoying because the perspective makes it difficult to tell where you have to jump to land on these platforms. Getting to the first one especially is a pain in the butt. So that's all it took to snap him out of it? Not even a little fire? So the slave driver can eat dynamite explosions, but is only damaged if hit by dynamite while carrying a rock? What's in that blood of the collie anyway? Guy already got crushed. Too late to cover the kid's eyes. Is that kid wearing Indy's hat on top of his turban? Interesting choice, guys, getting in separate carts. What if he gets separated? Don't you want to escape the temple together? I'm still not entirely sure how it works at this particular section where it splits between which way the carts turn. How did I hit that light? I was like a mile away. How did I hit that switch? I already passed it. This flood at the beginning of the level is what I like to call the harder version of the boulder chamber from the first Raiders level. The reason is because you don't get as many chances with this section. With a boulder, you can let it catch up to you 3 times. After 3 times, you get an alternate cutscene. With the flood, once it catches up to you, you get the alternate cutscene. In both scenarios though, it's not a big deal because you'll still be able to continue the level regardless of the outcome. It's just more stressful with the flood the first time you play it. Luckily though, I grew up with this game so no biggie, but again, since the level just continues after that, no matter what happened, why even have it in the game? Those branches are just too convenient, especially considering that if you reach the end of the section without the flood reaching you, the cutscene shows they're not even there. If you didn't like Wooly screaming in the movie, try using her to pick up items, use them, or activate Thuggy statues a few times. Screw this puzzle, screw this puzzle, screw this puzzle. I don't think that's supposed to happen. Trying to fight Mola Ram with a sword is just a perfect reminder of how useless melee weapons are as weapons. Look, I'm swinging my sword to attack, but his punches are still connecting. It really is better to use your fists when fighting someone who's barehanded because you try the sword or any other melee weapon, guess who dies first? You do. It's bullcrap. Why would you leap to the center of the bridge after I just cut the last support rope? That was it? We don't even get to have a proper fight with Mola Ram dangling on the bridge before the level ends? No, you betrayed Shiva! Also, no British army coming to save the day. We have British soldiers available as unlockable characters, but they don't do anything in the game's story mode. Here's something about the cutscenes that makes more sense than in the movie. Indy doesn't have his jacket for this cutscene in the game. Why stop at knocking Henry out? Don't the Nazis want the diary? Just take it out of the Dropbox. Any particular reason Indy's hiding the diary from Donovan? He doesn't know the man's a Nazi just yet. What's going on in the background there? Why is there Jovito's tribesman on the boat? Why do we also see Jock, a Thuggy, a Chinese dancing girl, Belloc, and some dude conga line dancing? I mean, yeah, you guys are looking for a Dr. Schneider, but have no description on how to recognize Dr. Schneider. But this woman's trying to get your attention. You're just being flat out rude. Oh, bull! That was not your first reaction to Dr. Schneider. Screw off! I know what the game wants me to do, but I could just use the ledges and not pull the lever to extend that first awning. Why is the Brotherhood of the Cruciform Sword attacking us already? They don't know we're after the Grail just yet. At least, I don't think they should. Were they just waiting for us near the library? What if we were just normal customers? Marcus? You okay there? That's gonna cause a lot more noise than just stamping the X with a post from a barrier belt. What are these whip platforms even for? You can't whip between them, and you can't really do anything with them. When I pulled that thing out, I heard a sound like the switch being deactivated, but then I activated it again by jumping on it. Why wasn't the fan blowing as soon as I built it before pulling out the switch? It was already being pressed. No, the way you filled that sketch is impossible the way the paper's positioned on that shield. Are you calling out to the people that are trying to kill you? What happened to the boat to make it not on fire anymore? And why park it in the middle of the ocean and nowhere near that propeller, contrary to what the level's ending cutscene would have us believe? That's a little confusing. So we're treating Elsa's hair like a Lego headpiece because that's literally what it is. But anytime Indy takes off his hat, we see his hair underneath. What are the rules, Gabe? Can we please decide? Also, these had to be the worst disguises ever. All they did was swap headpieces. I thought it was bad dealing with regular bad guys when they have guns, but throwing bazookas in there? But also, why do they fire the bazooka at you while you're so close to them? How stupid can they be? The LEGO Indiana Jones universe must have the strongest wires in the world if it can hold up the planks needed for a bridge, not to mention someone walking over them. Wasn't it during the capture of the Joneses when Donovan reveals his allegiance to the Nazis? Why is he not here? Did Henry want a kiss from Elsa too? Yes, he said, and I quote, "She talks in her sleep," suggesting the two slept together at one point, but he also says he never trusted her, and besides, he's old enough to be her grandfather. Given the angle of the fireplace and where I entered the room from, the wall's position in the next room is the exact opposite. The fireplace turned to the right, and I enter the next room on the same side of the fireplace, which is true for the next room, except they make it seem as if the fireplace turned to the left instead. Wait, wasn't that guy holding a key? Why is there no... It's at the bottom of the stairs where he took the first 2 hits? Bullcrap! Why doesn't it make more sense for it to have been dropped where he died? Have a bit of respect for old relics, man. I understand how the level is designed would require 2 motorcycles to activate the switches, but one of them has a sidecar. If no one's going to ride the sidecar in order to make their way through the stage, then why even have the sidecar? Excuse me, but that motorbike was out of range of the mine's explosion. Why is it okay to drive the motorcycle over the mud, but if there's no one in the seat, it breaks when it goes in the mud? This boss fight is annoying as all heck. You have no idea how often I've died on this part alone, not to mention all the stunts I lose, all because the Nazis with the bazookas just keep coming and they continue to bother you, and bother you, and bother you! Isn't it enough that I have to grab a bazooka and fire 4 shots at each of these turrets before the door can open? But even after destroying all the turrets, you have to not get blown up by the Nazis with the bazookas and then leave. May I stress once more, I died so many times and lost so many studs on this last part of the level alone. Oh, and just as a further tease to the fact that they give you a sidecar, but you need to use both motorcycles the game presents you with, this outro cutscene for the level shows Henry riding the sidecar while Indy drives the motorcycle itself. Yes, I know that the way Indy gets the diary back is by traveling from Austria to Berlin, the capital of Germany, which is a completely different country from Austria, but showing this didn't really need a map segment. Those characters in the poster don't look even remotely German. Also, why is Henry's picture him holding a newspaper? Also, why are half of these people wearing those disguise glasses? So the hair is a detachable Lego headpiece. Got it. See? There it is again. Indy removes his hat, and there's his hair. Apparently, just anybody can pull this lever. It doesn't have to be Vogel after you hit him twice. The Zeppelin's supposed to be in the air at this point, yet this shot makes it look like it hasn't taken off. And it's at a crucial moment, too. It's at the moment when the Zeppelin turns around to go back to Berlin, which is why we even have that plane scene in the first place. Indy? Not exactly a good idea to jump on the nose of the plane like that, especially not in a Zeppelin in the middle of a flight. What a missed opportunity to have a flight segment of the level. Instead, it's all an automatic cutscene. If you land on this platform, it collapses and needs to be rebuilt. That would mean the second player would need to rebuild the platform after the first player makes it across, and that can take a bit. Way to shake up the gameplay there. This game shows that we fixed this random car that we found out in this area, but you want to know what really happened? In the movie, that car was broken down and Indy just stole it while the owner was fixing it. Some action hero, am I right? Why are you looking at your dad like that? Have a bit of fun with him. Now that I see this a second time, it seems like absolute coincidence that these sequels just happened to get the pilot's way, screwing up his flight and eventually causing him to crash. I think the damage done to the plane by the sequels was slightly exaggerated. Yes, they destroyed the cockpit glass and jammed the engine, but the outer shell wasn't really that badly torn apart as far as I remember. Why is Sala driving a bus? Also, if you haven't seen the movies, Sala just comes out of nowhere. You gotta be kidding. You're gonna have him fall asleep and not be captured by the Nazis as part of the level? That would have been the perfect opportunity and you wasted it! The way this hint is worded, you think there's more animals than just the horses that give you a jump boost when you leap off, but nope, it's just the horses. Suddenly R2-D2. Hey, Temple of Doom called. It wants its minecarts back. Oh, come on! He wasn't even on screen yet! Why isn't he getting on the army tank? In the movie it was to save Marcus and Henry, but we didn't see the Nazis capture either of them. I mean, the tank was attacking us earlier in the level, but even then, there wasn't really any pressing need to go on the tank. Guys? Who's driving those trucks now? Where did Henry come from? He fell asleep at the beginning of the level, and he wasn't captured by the Nazis for some reason. Indy? What are you doing? Where did Brody come from? Last we saw him, he was attacked by the Brotherhood of the Cruciform Sword, and that was all the way back on the first level. In this version, he didn't get captured by the Nazis or anything, and he hasn't appeared anywhere else in the story until now. So what has he been doing while we were busting our butts looking for the Grail? This reveal of Donovan's allegiance to the Nazis should have happened much sooner, because here there was no foreshadowing to it whatsoever. Why is the same guy who sent us to Venice pointing a gun at our heroes and forcing us to get the Grail for him? That's actually really cool how they have you spell out Jehovah in Latin, just like how it had to be done in the movie, except at the end they decide to have you add another H, even though it was never spelled that way. Okay, so there's multiple invisible bridges? I thought it was just the one. Whoa there, cameraman. Stay at the same angle. Don't make me turn the left stick just to stay on the bridge. The Grail Knight could not have known about Darth Vader. Donovan just went in after Indy alone? Wasn't it because of Elsa that he drank the raw Grail? Also, is he just drinking straight from the Grail? Don't you have to fill it up with the spring first? Why is the Grail Knight attacking me? Doesn't he want me to select a Grail? If I choose poorly, I'm gonna die anyway. Also, it's not like Indy to reach for one of the golden chalices. He knows better than that. In fact, it was the exact reason Elsa knew that the Grail Donovan drank from was not the correct Grail. It couldn't have been made of gold. And then the last cutscene for the level, you show the Grail being filled up at the spring before Indy drinks from it. What's with Henry's energy here? And don't tell me it's because of the Grail, because even if it did allow for this kind of energy, the gift of eternal life is taken away once the Grail crosses the seal. That was why Elsa fell to her death. That doesn't look right, especially after we saw Henry get on the saddle in a previous shot. This is not a Nazi, it's an enemy guard. Can't even call these guys Germans or Austrians, except on the actual playsets. But I understand not calling them Nazis, I really do. The game calls him a boxer, but we call him a mechanic. Was that guy the first man on the ship, though? I thought he was just a guy that found Indy boarding that Nazi sub. This is just hilarious. The Maharaja in Temple of Doom has a name said out loud in the movie. It's Zeppelin Singh. I'm sorry, Lego. The commander of the British army that saved the good guys at the end of the movie, he has a name. It's Philip James Blumberg. The first level in Raiders takes place in the South America jungle, specifically at Chachapoyas, a town in Peru. But when we look at it on this map, that point should be more on the western side of the South America continent. I didn't point it out earlier, but this map in the game shows Indy's plane taking a different route to Nepal than in the movie. In the film, his plane seemed to make 3 stops. It started in California, then made a stop in Hawaii, then made a stop in, I want to say Guam, but I could be mistaken about that. Then the last stop was in the Philippines before he got to Nepal. But this game shows the route starting in New York, probably because that's where Barnett College is, and making a stop in Svalbard. That's the only stop in the journey. Also, they don't even get Nepal's location right. If they did, level 2 would have been further north. But nope, the point is in India. The route to Cairo is also different. In the movie, it started at Nepal, and I mean actually in Nepal, then made a stop in Karachi, then another stop in Baghdad before arriving in Cairo. But this game shows us going on a one-way ticket from India to Cairo. At least they got Egypt's location right. Then for the last level in Raiders, that is nowhere near where the Nazi sub traveled on the map. It's far too south. Believe me, if there was an option to turn off these hints, I would have done so already. Bullcrap! I just exited the area! Give me some breathing room! Wait, the music didn't change? It changed when I played it in story mode. I wonder if that was on purpose or just a bug of the programming. Suddenly C-3PO. Oh, only after I free 3PO from his prison does the music change. I get it now. Okay, never mind. The music does change when you advance the level normally. So, what was going on before? Getting back up from that trench after delivering the parcel is nerve-wracking because you have no idea when one of these heads is going to drop on you from above. And the music is still intense. Dude, we already cleared the boulder. Even at the results screen, the music doesn't change.
What's up with the log of fire here? This area upstairs doesn't have anything for me to grab anyway. No treasures, nothing. I swear this music thing must be a glitch because I remember playing the Wii version when I was younger and the music was never an issue. I even watched another video that plays this game on free play to see if it was just the Xbox 360 version that had this issue with the music. But the video I watched didn't seem to have it on that platform. I guess it might have something to do with the fact that I'm not actually playing this on an Xbox 360. I'm playing on an Xbox One. Being able to shoot these guys with a gun in free play mode with no concern about running out of ammo makes me wish that free play always put at least one character that wielded a firearm, but it only seems to happen sometimes. Beggars can't be choosers. Suddenly Santa Claus. These things are explosives, right? So logically I should be able to use a bazooka to blow it all up, but nope, you need the torch. Suddenly Luke Skywalker. Great job, Gabe. You pretty much have to use a bazooka on the ice while it's right next to you to get the chest. Why'd you jump down, greatest adventure hero? What, the gun is just as effective against these particular bad guys as the sword or your fists? Why are these guys so tough? It's not even that far into the game. The saving grace is that they're not resistant against bazooka blasts. Well, that's random. What just happened to my hair? Is that a real looking dog in a photo in a Lego game? Sure, just completely neglect the Lego dogs that exist. You have to go behind the wall to justify this chest. Suddenly Chewbacca. We interrupt Lego Indiana Jones The Original Adventures to bring you disco. What? Why doesn't the music turn off? Okay, the music is really messed up. I might just have a weird version of the game. You know, the game really shouldn't force you to use the hatch in order to get a sword to cut down a chain holding up a bridge. I can understand for story mode, but in free play, just let me have a character that already uses a sword by default. And this goes for every room that has a sword to pick up, not just this one. Hold up. Isn't this the room where Indy found the location of the Ark? But it's in the Well of Souls. Huh. Dang it, Elso, why would you get off the switch while I'm crossing the floor that has deadly spikes in it? And apparently she tried to cross the floor too, despite the spikes being raised. So the giant snake is immune to grenades, even though torches hurt it? The parcel delivery in this level sucks, because you're not even allowed to set the parcel down on any of the steps. That causes its position to reset, meaning you have to go back in the crane and put the other character up in that area again. Even worse is that this parcel works in a time limit, so you have to get up those steps in a very specific way. That by itself is a pain in the urethra to figure out. This one sucks too. I had to be standing in the right spot the entire time while digging to get to that treasure, because if not, I fall back down to ground level and have to ascend all over again, which is beyond time consuming unless I first built that rope at the end of the rail section first, which I didn't. It still would have been a cumbersome process though, and after getting the chest, I'd have to make my way back up again anyway, so it's not like there's much difference, but it's still annoying. It would be so cool if the second player could get in the back of this Jeep to use the gun attachment, but that would be too fun. Once again, putting that metallic object that's encased in the treasure chest right next to where I'm going to be standing. Oh, boosh! Just because I built a door in a wall doesn't create a whole new room. So I just grab the rope and the mechanism just keeps turning, even after I let go. I'm recording this before I got the last chest I needed, and anyway, once you get to this area, you cannot leave, which sucks because I'm still trying to harvest studs to fill up my True Adventure bar. Though, with that said, it still proved to be possible in this room. You'd think the second player AI would be smart enough to leap onto the other elephant to get across the mud, but no, you have to destroy the support for the vine. Huh. Doesn't it look like you could just cross that track? Sorry kid, already pulled the lever up here. Have fun with the thuggy cole for the rest of your life. Goodbye! This part stresses the crap out of me if it twirls while using the whip, because it puts me closer to the edge. Yep, already took care of business. Bye kid, have fun in slavery. What did the rocket even hit? Suddenly Princess Leia. I still have no idea how this crap works, and it's extra frustrating when you're trying to get all the treasure chests, because in order to get 2 of them, you have to knock down all the rocks in both sections of the minecart chase. It's so annoying trying to build something if you're playing as a character with a melee weapon and the other character is right next to you. Looks like they got a fairly good estimation on Venice's location, even if the route looks a bit different than in the movie. Indy's stop before arriving in Venice was in Lisbon, Portugal, which is southwest of Venice. Here, he arrives from northwest. For levels 2 and 3, which take place in Austria, they went too far north. Looks more like they went to, I guess, Poland? It takes effort to be this far off. I'm not bringing up anything for level 4 because I assume that's just the middle of the route the Zeppelin was taking to Athens before turning around to head back to Berlin. But look at levels 5 and 6. Is that supposed to be Hatay? You got the country right, that being the country of Turkey, but that point is far too northwest. There's a 7, a 3, and a 5? Is it because X marks the spot and there's just the one X where we can find the tomb? These things just look like toilets. This is why I prefer the bazooka over the grenade. With the grenade, it's next to impossible to perfectly position yourself to destroy this particular metal cover. I just think it's stupid that in order to get the treasure chest, you have to drive over a bunch of shrubbery. Like, really? The only reason I'd ever do that is to get more studs if necessary. I'm not going to give treasure chests a second thought. Seriously, game, if you're gonna give me a character with explosives, don't give me one with grenades! Give me a bazooka instead! Having the grenade especially sucks at this part, which already sucked, but try beating it with the grenade for double the suckage! What's the point of having some kind of footing outside the Zeppelin if there's no way to get back up without dying? Oh, come on! That is cheap and you know it! How is anyone supposed to see that coming? You'd think that by stepping off the platform connected to the cage, that would cause the cage to go back down, right?
That is a Nepalese altar? Are they being serious? Just because the level involves a monkey. I can kinda get behind the jewelite skull, but what do dinosaurs have to do with Temple of Doom? Pankot Diamond. We were never searching for any such thing. Yeah? That is definitely a suit of armor. What does this guilt-free portrait have to do with the motorcycle chase? Just because the level involved flying to some degree doesn't mean the eagle statue is a fitting artifact for it. How funny of us to have a false Grail on display even though we weren't even able to keep the real Grail. This level takes place in Utah, in which case I put this point slightly further north. That's right, boys, don't go get the sheriff, just try to be like Tom Cruise before Tom Cruise's parents were even born. You'd think since we alerted the grave robbers, we'd have to start fighting them already, but nope, you have to actually start approaching them to fight them. So we just go from the reptile house to where the lion is kept. The movie gives us something interesting to think about. Why is Indy so awesome with the whip from the minute he picks it up? But then here's the game. Herman grabs the whip, he can't use it? What? We got the magic box already? The game just calls a Boy Scout. He has a name, it's Herman. What's that monkey even doing here? You're just knocking on the cliffside below the panel, dude. You're gonna need a step stool to reach the panel. Ugh, where did the other guy go? You'd think there'd be something behind that grand wall, but no, you just never access it at any point in this bonus level. We interrupt LEGO Indiana Jones The Original Adventures to bring you Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. The warehouse is practically nothing. All you do is place road outlines, drive around, and, well, that's pretty much it. And once you collect 1,000,000 studs in this level, you're kicked out. I guess it's cool for customizing tracks for you to drive around on, but the point of my videos is to be goal driven, and with video games, the goals I go with are not really my own. Not to mention, I could just keep spam hitting this target with the tank until I get the 1,000,000 studs, and I'm just out of there. Bye! Yeah, no, your ankle should be shattered. What exactly is the game saving? Just the fact that I watched some of the cutscenes from the game? You're gonna let me test my character, but I can't even leave the art room while I'm still testing the character? Also, you wanna know what else is strange about the custom characters in this game? No matter what weapon you give them, they'll always have the whip as well. What if I don't want my character to have that? Also, I don't capture footage of this, but even if you give your custom character a female head, the game still treats them as males. Same sound effects as a male character, no extra jump boost. Pretty intense sexism for probably the most gender-neutral toy in the world. Suddenly Han Solo. Congratulations, kid, you unlocked every character, extra, and artifact, as well as completed all the bonus levels. Here's your reward. It's raining money just so you can unlock the Xbox achievement for reaching the maximum 4 billion much more easily.
That belongs in a museum.
So do you.